Putrada Ekadashi. The glories of Putrada Ekadashi, which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of December-January, are described in the Bhavishya Uttara Purana in the conversation between Lord Krishna and Maharaja Yudhishthira. Lord Krishna said to Yudhishthira, "My dear king, the Ekadashi which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of December-January is called Putrada. By observing this Ekadashi, all one's sinful reactions are counteracted. People become learned and famous by following this Ekadashi. Now, please hear the glories of this auspicious Ekadashi. There was a city named Bhadravati, and a king named Suketumana was ruling. The name of his queen was Shavya. Since they had no son, both the king and the queen lived their lives in distress. They spent most of their time performing religious activities. Because the king and the queen were afflicted with lamentation, the water that they offered during the time of offering oblation to their forefather appeared hot. Meanwhile, the forefathers were also worried, thinking that after King Suketumana no one would be there to offer them oblations. Knowing this distress of the forefathers, the king became even more morose and did not feel any pleasure in the association of his friends, well-wishers, or ministers. Being merged in lamentation and hopelessness, the king considered that without a son, human life is useless. It's impossible to become free from the debts to the demigods, to the forefathers, and to the human beings without possessing a son. Without heaps of pious activities and devotion to Vishnu, one cannot possess sons, wealth, and knowledge. After concluding in this way, for his own benefit, the morose king secretly left for the forest, riding on a horse. King Suketumana entered the forest, which was inhabited by birds and beasts, and began to search for a place to take rest. Within the dense forest, the king saw various trees, such as banyan, pipala, date, tamarind, palm, shal, Maula-Siri, Saptaparna, Tilaka, Tamala, Sharala, Hingota, Arjuna, Lavhera, Baheda, Salaki, Patala, Katechu, and Palasa, as well as various animals such as tigers, lions, wild elephant, deer, wild pigs, monkeys, snakes, leopards, and hares. Instead of resting, the king then began to wander through the forest. The king became scared and surprised by hearing the howling of the jackals and the sounds of the owls. Wandering in this way in all directions, the king soon became very tired. It was midday, and the king was very thirsty. He thought that though I have pleased the demigods through worship and sacrifices, maintained my subjects like my own children, and satisfied the brahmanas by offering them foodstuffs and dakshina, still I am suffering like this today. Being absorbed in this thought, King Suketumana wandered here and there. Suddenly he saw a lake, which was as beautiful as Manasa Saravara, filled with lotuses. Many swans, chakravaka, and chakora birds were sporting in the waters of that lake. On seeing some sages chanting Vedic mantras on the bank of this lake, the king got down from his horse and offered obeisances to each of them separately. The sages became pleased by the king's behavior, and asked him, "O king, we are pleased with you. please ask us for some benediction." The king said, "Who are all of you? Why have you come to this lake?" The sages replied, "We are Vishvadevas and have come here to take bath. Today is the auspicious Putrada Ekadashi. If a person desirous of a son observes this vow, he is certainly benedicted with a son." The king said, "I have tried so many things to get a son, but till today I have not been successful. Since all of you are pleased with me, kindly bless me with a beautiful son." Then the sages instructed, "Today is Putrada Ekadashi. O king, observe this Ekadashi with great care. Then, by the mercy of the Lord and by our blessing, you will certainly receive a son." Thereafter, following the instruction of the sages, the king observed the auspicious Putrada Ekadashi. On the next day, he broke his fast, and after repeatedly offering obeisances to the sages, he returned to his palace. In due course of time, Queen Shavya became pregnant. By the blessing of the sages and the influence of the piety accumulated by observing Putrada Ekadashi, the king got a pious and brilliant son. Thereafter, the king happily ruled his kingdom, and his forefathers also became satisfied. Lord Krishna continued, "O King Yudhishthira, by following this Putrada Ekadashi, one can get a son and attain the heavenly planets. Anyone who hears or sings the glories of this Ekadashi certainly achieves the result of an Ashwamedha sacrifice." Jai Shri Putrada Ekadashi.